And today we are talking about intermittent fasting. So there are a few different types of intermittent fasting, but today we're going to be talking about.
Hey Bestie, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like the video because it helps with my algorithm. So Bestie, today we're going to be honest. When it comes to weight loss, everyone wants to know the fastest and most effective way to do it without spending hours in the gym or starving. The truth is, one of the best tools you can use is intermittent fasting. If you've been seeing people talking about how they're dropping weight by simply changing when they eat instead of obsessing over what they eat. So I've put the stitches together so that you watch. I'll be back to share my instructions.
And today we are talking about intermittent fasting. So there are a few different types of intermittent fasting, but today we're going to be talking about the most common one, the one I use and one that worked best for me, which is the 16-8 version. And that's basically where you fast for 16 hours and you eat for 8 hours. And you probably like, girl, fast for 16 hours, that's so hard. I promise you it's not. I got you. You already know we in this together. So basically what you do is you choose an 8-hour window that you want to eat between. For me, I chose 12 to 8 p.m. So basically I would have my first meal at 12 p.m., eat throughout the day, and then I would not eat after 8 p.m. All right, so when it hit 12 p.m. and it was time for me to break my fast, I made sure that I broke it with the whole meal, which you need to make sure that you're breaking your fast with the whole meal. And there are a lot of people out here that's like, yeah, eat anything within your intermittent fasting window and you'll still lose weight. And that might be true, but we're not doing that over here, okay? Because we don't just want to see the scale go down, but we want to see it physically and feel it physically. So you have to make sure that you break your fast with like a balanced whole meal that includes your proteins, healthy fats, and healthy carbs. The first step to starting intermittent fasting is finding the hours that work best for you. You don't have to do 12 to 8 just because I did that. That's like what works best with my schedule. But honestly, sometimes I have to switch it up. Like, look, today, this is my daily schedule. I have to go by a schedule because my brain is going everywhere. So today I'm actually eating between 11 and 7 p.m. based off the meetings that I have at work. So that's cool. So basically what I want you guys to do is find out what hours work best for you, like what 8-hour window, and then try to eat within that window today. And you can play around with it. You can do like a 10 to 6, 12 to 8, 11 to 7, just see like what feels best for you. And so once you figured out your intermittent fasting window, I want you to eat within that window, also in your calorie deficit. So if you watched session 1, you should already know what your calorie deficit is. So then just combine the two. Eat within that calorie deficit within the intermittent fasting window. I promise y'all, literally, this combo like had the weight like falling off. Honestly, like this is like my number one tip. Sometimes people like do one or the other, but I combine the two because why not? Don't feel bad if you don't do it for one day because like one day is not going to mess up your journey, but definitely try to be consistent with it and like eat within the window because the results are going to pay off. But please don't beat yourself up. Like we don't do that around here. We're real with ourselves while also trying to meet our goals. Look, you can drink water during like the 16 fasting hours. That was the only thing that I was intaking during those hours. But honestly, sometimes thirst can be mistaken for hunger and you're not even really hungry, you're just thirsty. So make sure that you are still drinking the water even during your fasting window. So thank you for coming to Unbig Your Back Academy. Make sure you follow me so you never miss a session because next session we're talking about the third part of this combo that's gonna have you on slim.
I have been doing the 80-20 rule for a very long time. This is how the 80-20 rule works. So 80% of the time you're eating healthy, you're in your calorie deficit or in your maintenance, but you're eating full fiber foods, you're eating protein if that's what you choose. You're eating foods that are sustainable or foods that you are making at home. 20% is the bad food, the junk food, the going out having pizza, the restaurant meals and stuff like that. If you stick to the 80-20 rule, you are going to become successful. Exactly what I did. I do 80% healthy in maintenance and then 20% I do unhealthy, eat whatever I want. That might be incorporated into my everyday meals, but it's only 20% of what I eat in the day. Does that make sense? On top of that, intermittent fasting is so important. Fasting has been proven to be good for your body forever. Intermittent fasting is the second best alternative. Like intermittent fasting is so good to wire your brain to tell you that, hey, at 7 p.m., there is no more food. It works. You allow your body to digest your food. Your body needs to go into fasting. Intermittent fasting and the 80.
Everything you were told about eating frequently is wrong. Eating all day is actually harming your body. Let's talk about intermittent fasting. You have probably heard that you should eat small meals all day to keep your metabolism going, but this is actually far from the reality. Eating all day actually keeps your insulin levels high all the time, which means your body is constantly on this fat storage mode. When you fast, you actually give your body time to burn through all this stored fat instead of relying on carbs all the time. But here's what most people don't know. Intermittent fasting is not just for weight loss. It also triggers a process called autophagy, where your body cleanses itself out. It gets rid of damaged cells and regenerates new ones. It's like a built-in repair system. Intermittent fasting also reduces inflammation, which is the root cause of so many chronic diseases. Thought we're done here? No. Hold up. Studies show that intermittent fasting also improves insulin sensitivity, which means your body handles insulin more efficient and reduces the risk of diabetes. It even boosts mental clarity and boosts your energy. So intermittent fasting is not only a scientifically proven way to lose fat, it will boost your overall health. It will get rid of fat, repair cells, reduce inflammation, and reduce the risk of diabetes. I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. If you want to know more about it, then let me know in the comments and follow me for more healthcare.
I lost 26 pounds in a span of 2.5 months, and this is everything that I did. One is I was in a calorie deficit, also intermittent fasting, 16 to 18 hours of the day. I went to the gym every single day except Sunday, 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, like another 45 to an hour on the treadmill, plus abs and the sauna for like 20 minutes. Another huge thing was volume foods, so low calorie and then high in protein.
Do you know the number one rule you don't want to break when doing intermittent fasting? If you want to get results from intermittent fasting, you absolutely do not want to break this rule. The rule is when you're breaking your fast, have a meal that is a normal size meal and make sure the meal is high in protein, low in carb, and has lots of healthy fats in it. If you're skipping meals, you may feel like there is this chance that you won't get food, so you have to stuff yourself to make sure you're not going to get hungry. You do not want to break your fast gorging yourself on a high carb junk food meal. When you're new to intermittent fasting, you may feel like I've missed a meal, and so now I have to really just shovel food in and make up all of those calories. And you may be really hungry, so your body's telling you to go for the simple carbs where you're just jacking up your blood sugar. Resist the urge. Just have a normal portion size. It's okay. You are not starving. You have had plenty of fat for fuel earlier in the day. And so when you're eating right now, you can just have a normal portion of a protein, high, good for you fat meal. This mind shift takes a little bit of time for some people. But as you get used to eating a normal sized meal after your fast, that experience will validate to your subconscious what your conscious mind knows. You are not starving. You have fat stores that are perfectly fine to use for energy, and you don't have to constantly eat. It will also validate that you do get to eat again in a few hours, so it'll be okay. Your brain will get used to the idea that after dinner, it's okay. You can wait until lunch.
Intermittent fasting helps you drop weight fast. I fast for 16 hours from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day. During that fast, all I have is black coffee or green tea, no extra sweeteners, and a bunch of water. Then when I'm ready to break my fast, I'll usually have like oatmeal or chia pudding. For lunch, I'm usually having like a green protein smoothie or shake. And then for dinner, I'll usually have like salmon, veggies, and rice or quinoa. And if I'm feeling some fast food cravings, I usually have the blackened chicken tenders meal from Popeyes. Be sure to watch my previous videos. I have a bunch of meal ideas. And a little birdie told me there's a meal plan available in my Stan store in the bio. Let me know in the comments if you've tried intermittent fasting and for how long. Bye!
The number one intermittent fasting mistake that makes you gain weight. While most are successful at losing weight doing intermittent fasting, there are some that plateau or even gain weight while doing this. I'm going to show you the number one mistake to avoid so that you can reach your goal. First, let's go over low calorie versus fasting. Now, while both are reducing the amount of calories that you're eating, low calorie, you have these small, frequent meals throughout the day. With intermittent fasting, you have fewer meals. If you're intermittent fasting and you're doing this low calorie version where you're eating these small frequent meals, but you're never quite eating until you're full, your body senses that lack of food. It senses that constant lack of energy. So it recognizes that it keeps getting food, but never quite enough. So what does it do? It lowers its metabolism so that it can save some for a rainy day. But if you do intermittent fasting correctly, you eat your meals until fullness. So your body knows, I don't know when my next meal is coming, but I know every time I get a meal, I get plenty. So in those cases, your body doesn't lower its basal metabolic rate. This is why a lot of times you'll see people do a refeed day to try to preserve their basal metabolic rate. This has been proven in studies that in your low-calorie restriction diet, your body loses weight initially and then it starts to plateau because the metabolism has come down. And that's the beauty of intermittent fasting is when you eat your meals, you can.
Let's talk about it right here. 50,000 of you asked for some more information. So if you are a woman over 40 or in any kind of hormonal imbalance, PCOS, perimenopause, postmenopausal, just a whole gamut, and you're battling with that stubborn belly fat, that cortisol belly that will not budge despite your best efforts, save this video right now. I'm going to give you a very detailed plan for a 16-8 beginner's fast. I'm even going to give you a daily schedule and a meal plan to follow. If you're ready to hop into it, go ahead and drop the word fast right down below. For a 16-8 fast, what that means is you're fasting for 16 hours and you're refueling for the other 8. This is an example of how your day could look with a 16-8, closing the kitchen at 8 p.m. Now listen, when your kitchen closes and opens, that's all interchangeable. The things that are written in stone are the hours, and 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of refueling. Before we go further, one thing that you have to understand is intermittent fasting like a woman is essential to protect hormones, to reduce cortisol. That means not every single day. We're doing this every other day. When intermittent fasting like a woman, we're going to work smarter, not harder. That means this list right here, these things can support you during your fasting hours. Yes, these are things that you can have to support you, to keep you hydrated. Some of these will actually even supercharge your results, and they're going to be really great for that mental game because your brain's going to convince you you're starving 2 hours in. This is a perfect meal plan for when you're intermittent fasting like a woman. Want to point out a few things here. We are supporting this fast with high protein, high fiber, and notice all those carbs in there? We're not shying away. We need carbs that help us regulate our cortisol. We need carbs to help us regulate our hormones. We need carbs to help us regulate our body temperature. Hello, night sweats and hot flashes. Mindset in the fast is everything. And if you've never intermittent fasted before and 16-8 just seems a little overwhelming, start with a 12-12. That just means your kitchen closes at, let's say, 7 p.m. and reopens at 7 a.m. You're going to be asleep most of those hours in between. This is going to get you a feel for the rhythm, going to get you some early success, and then you can just start expanding that fast each day by an hour. Intermittent is one piece of the puzzle that I've put together that has taken me from an extra large to a medium in the throes of menopause at almost 50 in less than a month. I use intermittent fasting, high protein lifestyle, gut health, and supplementation. If you're looking for the cortisol cocktail that I use to support my intermittent fasting lifestyle or the recipe, you can always hop up to the deets in my bio. All the information that you can need is right there for you. Look.
Huge mistakes to avoid when intermittent fasting. Part 1. Don't forget about the salt. Fasting causes you to lose a lot of electrolytes, and not getting enough electrolytes is likely why you're feeling headachy, low energy, and muscle cramps, and even constipation. And if you're drinking a lot of water, you're making the problem worse. A lot of regular water has essentially 0 electrolytes. So if you're drinking water without salt, you're just further diluting your electrolytes and making the problem worse. I like to start off with a heavy pinch of either Celtic sea salt or Redmond salt with about 16 ounces of water first thing in the morning to make sure.
If you're doing intermittent fasting and it's not working, stop doing this one thing. The biggest mistakes I see with intermittent fasting is that women who are already under eating, when they go to try intermittent fasting, now they are grossly under eating. And ladies, I'm talking about under 1,200 calories. 1,200 calories is not even enough for a 3-year-old, for a toddler. And so what happens when you chronically undereat like that, you are absolutely slowing your metabolism down. So it's critical, whether or not you intermittent fast or not, it's critical that you get enough food to support your metabolism, and especially if you intermittent fast, pay attention to how much food you're getting.
That's a video, besties. I'm just here just to add on like what I think about today's video. So today we're talking about how to lose weight faster with intermittent fasting. So the first thing you need to understand, bestie, about intermittent fasting is that it's not a diet, it's an eating pattern. Instead of eating all day long, you give your body a set of hours for eating, longer hours for fasting. This gives your body time to tap into the stored fat for energy, which is exactly what accelerates weight loss. One of the fastest way people see results is through the 16-8 method, where you fast for 16 hours and eat during an 8 hours window. For example, if your eating window is between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., you spend the rest of the time fasting, letting your body rest and burn out fat. What makes intermittent fasting so effective is the way it works with your body's natural metabolism. When you're not constantly eating, your insulin level drops. Low insulin levels allow your body to burn fat more effectively instead of installing it. This means the longer you go without food, the more your body dips into your fat you waste for fuel. This process does not just help you lose weight fast, but also it helps you reduce cravings and keeps your appetite in check over time. Now I know some of you are thinking, won't fasting make me super hungry? At first, yes, your body might resist the change between or because it's used to constant snacking. But once your body adapts, intermittent fasting actually helps regulate hunger hormones, making it easy to go without food or eating anything. The key here is consistency. You won't notice dramatic changes overnight, but within few weeks, not only you see the scale drop, but also you notice your energy levels improving. To lose weight faster with intermittent fasting, you need to be mindful of what you are eating during your eating window. Just because you're fasting doesn't mean you can break your fast with pizza, fries, and sodas every day. That's not going to help you lose the weight. Instead, focus on eating nutrient dense meals that include lean proteins, health fats, whole grain, fruits, and vegetables. Eating this way keeps you full for longer and prevents you from overreacting. Remember, fasting gives you a tool, but what you put on your plate determines how fast you're going to see the results. Another tip that helps speed up results is staying hydrated. Most people confuse thirst with hunger. During your fasting window, bestie, stick to water, black coffee, or unsweetened tea. These drinks not only help calm hunger but also keep your metabolism firing. Water especially plays a huge role in flushing out toxins, reducing bloating, and supporting fat loss. If you want results to come faster, make sure hydration becomes your best friend. Let's also talk about exercise because this is where things get interesting. When you combine intermittent fasting with the right kind of workout, the weight practically melts off faster. Okay, so fasted workouts, meaning your exercise before breaking your fast, can help your body burn every more fat because your insulin levels are already low. Cardio, strength training, or even brisk walk in the morning before your first meal can maximize fat burning. But listen, don't overdo it, especially in the beginning. Start slow and as your body adjusts, you can push yourself more. One of the mistakes people make when trying to lose weight faster with intermittent fasting is overreacting during their eating window. They feel like they have earned the food and end up consuming more calories than they burn, which cancels out the fasting benefit. The trick is to stay balanced. You don't need to starve yourself, but also don't need to beg just because the clock says it's time to eat. Pay attention to your body hunger cues and stop when you're satisfied, not starved. Another game changer with an intermittent fasting is sleep. You may not connect sleep to fasting, but poor sleep slows down weight loss. When you don't get enough sleep or enough rest, your body produces more hormones that the stress hormones, okay? So which leads to cravings, late night snacking, and stubborn belly fat. If you want to maximize your result, make sure you're sleeping at least 7 to 8 hours per night. Think of fasting, clean eating, exercise, and sleep as the four pillars that work together for faster weight loss. A lot of people also ask, how soon can I expect the results with fasting? The truth is, everyone's body is different. Some people notice change in the first 2 weeks, while others take months. But what makes fast standing out is the most people report losing weight more consistency and more sustainable compared to crash diets. The longer you stick with it, the easier it gets, and the faster you see the results. Now let's address the mindset because without the right mindset, even fasting won't work. Weight loss is not just about the body, it's about discipline, consistency, and patience. If you go into this expecting overnight